You ever watch a scene so raw, so layered, that you can't tell where the acting ends and real life begins? That's exactly what's happening right now with All the Queen's Men, because Babyface's storyline isn't just staying on the stage at Club Eden, it's actually spilling over into real life, into micro movies that hit harder than some of the most dramatic scenes that we've ever seen on TV. And the wildest part, he's packaging these into these side projects, and honestly, it might just be the most authentic work that we've seen come from this crew. Now, as someone who's looking at this with both a critic's eye and a stage director's lens, I can't help but pause here, because what Quincy is creating in these films, it isn't just entertainment, it's testimony. It's layered commentary, and when art imitates life this closely, it demands that we pay attention. So let's break it all down. On All the Queen's Men, the writers, they wasted no time throwing gasoline on Babyface's arc. Now, out of nowhere, his illegitimate son Quincy shows up, not just to say hello, not just to reconnect, but to bulldoze his way into Babyface's life like a storm that he can't escape. Now, Quincy isn't coming to Eden with warm hugs or dad, let's make it right energy. He was here with vengeance, right? With a mission. He's literally snatching everything his father has built. He's taking his life, his spot on the stage, and even his spot in the bedroom with Miss Tandy. And we've talked about this before. And let's be honest, out of all of the betrayals, this is the one that cuts the deepest. Now, on the last episode, he did try to make amends, but we're not sure how that's going to pan out. Quincy's word hit like a hammer. He wants his father to feel what it was like to grow up without him, to feel the weight of watching his mother struggle alone, to feel the absence that shaped his entire childhood. And Babyface, he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to embrace Quincy. He's not playing the role of the repentant father. He's brushing him off, wishing he'd disappear like a bad dream. Now, let's just pause right here for just a moment. That's already a strong storyline, right? A son that's confronting his absent father, not with tears, but with retaliation. But here's the part that makes this bigger than TV. When the cameras turn off at Club Eden, this is where the story continues. Now, these micro movies is art imitating real life. Outside the set, Babyface, Doc, and Quincy, they're putting together these micro movies that parallel the baby daddy storyline. And let me tell you, this is genius, because while the show gives us the glitz and the tension and the scandal, these films strip it all down to the bare emotion. Now, let's take the latest one at the lake. Quincy is sitting there. Well, he's actually standing there, and fishing pole in his hand, waiting on his dad, Babyface, to show up. The symbolism, it's almost too perfect, waiting on a connection. He's waiting on time together, waiting on something that may never come. But the clock keeps ticking. The sun is setting, the sky is darkening, and guess who shows up? Not Babyface, but it's Uncle Doc. Doc has to break it to him, Babyface ain't coming. The entire mood shifts. The scene fades into a black and white, right? The rain is falling, and suddenly it's not just Quincy's story anymore. It's every child's story who has ever waited for their father. Now, as a stage director, I have to give flowers to the director behind that choice, right? Because sometimes you don't need words to tell a story. Sometimes you just let the rain cry for you. You let the color drain out of the frame to remind the audience that this moment is bleak and it's unforgettable. That's visual storytelling, right? At its best. And I'll be real, it hit me, because this isn't just about Quincy. It's about the reality that so many kids live every single day. And here's the kicker. Quincy is an adult now, but he's still carrying that childlike sadness, that sense of abandonment in his adult years. And this is exactly why this project matters so much, because now the fathers who didn't show up, they don't just get to hear about it, they get to see it. They get to sit in the discomfort of that rain, of that black and white world, of that waiting that never ends. And Quincy didn't stop there. He had another microfilm that dropped Babyface right into his world, right into his workout routine. Now, Quincy, he's trying to focus, trying to push his weights, trying to build himself up, but Babyface is looming, literally hounding him. He won't let him get his reps in, right? He won't give him any peace. He's in his space, reminding him of the very presence that he denied him growing up. It's a double entendre, so sharp it cuts twice, right? Because in the TV world, Quincy is hounding Babyface at Club Eden, refusing to let him breathe. But in the microfilm world, Babyface is now the aggressor, hovering, pushing, not letting Quincy get stronger. It's art bouncing back and forth between the fictional and the real, creating a dialogue that goes beyond either medium. Now, let's zoom out for just a moment. Why is this so important? Because we're not just watching a TV storyline anymore, we're watching actors create this parallel narrative outside the network's cameras, right? Narratives that speak to real generational wounds. They're showing us what fatherhood, or the lack thereof, does to a man. They're showing us how unresolved childhood pain bleeds into adult relationships, careers, and even our ability to feel whole. And that's where this video, this commentary, becomes more than a recap. It's about impact, right? The choices and the message. Quincy's decision to create these films, it doesn't just show creativity, it shows a cry for understanding, a need to be seen. And by placing himself in these raw, stripped down situations, he's forcing us, the audience, to see the human beneath the entertainer, to see the boy beneath the man. That's why I have to give credit here. It takes courage, right, to strip something down that far, to let the scene breathe in silence, to not tell the audience what to feel, but to show them. That's directing 101, but it's also the highest level of storytelling. And what's even more fascinating is Babyface's role in all of this. On one hand, you've got the scripted Babyface on All the Queen's Men, who's being painted as a man dodging responsibility, right? Refusing to embrace his son. In these real-life microfilms, you've got the actor Babyface participating in the very exploration of that pain, right? He's stepping into the story not as the savior, but as the representation of what's missing. Now, that's a bold move, because most actors, when confronted with a storyline that paints them in a negative light, they want to redeem themselves in the side project, right? They want to show, no, I'm the good guy, don't hate me. But here, Babyface is doubling down. He's willing to embody the villain in his son's story, both on screen and off. Now, that's powerful, that's rare, and that's why this deserves more attention than it's actually getting. And let's not ignore the bigger picture here. What Quincy is tapping into is universal. How many sons and daughters are walking around with this same story? How many parents don't realize the ripple effects of their absence? And how many people are sitting in silence, never given the space to express it, right? But putting this on film, Quincy isn't just telling his truth, he's inviting us to confront our own. Right? He's showing us that this pain doesn't just go away, that you can't become an adult, build a career, even star in a hit TV show, and still be carrying the same wounds from childhood. And by showing it through art, he's making sure nobody can look away. And we have to look at what it says about us, about the culture, about the way that we live, and the choices that we make. Babyface and Quincy's storyline on All the Queen's Men, it's entertaining, yes. It's messy, yes. But these microfilms, they're bigger than the show. They're windows into real life, into generational cycles, into the pain that shapes who we are. And if you ask me, that deserves just as much attention as anything happening at Club Eden. So here's my take. I mean, we can watch All the Queen's Men for the glitz, the scandal, the spectacle, but we need to watch these side projects for the lesson, right? Because one day the show is going to end. But the truth Quincy is putting on screen, the truth about absent fathers, broken sons, and the weight of the waiting, that's never going away. And maybe, just maybe, somebody watching will take the hint, will pick up the phone, will show up, because that's the power of art when it's done right. And it doesn't just entertain, it changes us. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen to this video on Ruthless TV. I'm going to see you in the next one.